I think prophecy is real. I
Mm-hmm.
don't believe that.
How you prophesy
I was
and
going to
what
call
you?
it the Facebook prophet, but I was going to
Oh,
say like I don't believe necessarily in the Facebook status is the word I've been looking for. I'm not saying it's not good. I'm not saying I won't like the status. I'm saying I don't know, right? And that's the sword that, I'll fall on. I don't know. I think sometimes social media allows you to be creative, and in creativity, you are sometimes not aligned with the flow of God. And I think when you really get aligned with the flow of God, I don't see how you capture that. I think it's an organic capture. I don't see.
yeah, like if he wants it on camera, it's gonna get on camera.
Right, right.
Like I almost feel like I know how it's hard to explain because I almost see what you mean with that false sense of like hope because it's like they almost seem like it's almost like they give you a booklet of how to do things, and if you do A, B, C, D, and then it will equal to
Yeah.
what you want, and it's like no, it's not always like that. Like I can follow. Let's say you did this. Let's say okay. One of my struggles is I don't feel like I'm going nowhere career. Well, brother, you should pray this. My that's not how it works. Like I'm not. It's not just I can do it verbatim how you did it, mean
Right,
it just as much as you, but that's not my path. Like
right,
you just don't know how God gonna work in situations, and because social like now that it's with everything, you almost questioning everything because for the people that know really how God work,
right.
yes, he can be that sporadic where he's doing it like okay, for example, like I put it like this. There goes times and seasons with church where church is just hot. You know
Right.
what I mean? Where it's just like he flowing through that mug weekly and he just flowing this month or this year. But it's from what I've noticed with God, like it's not always just every Sunday at this time, boom, boom. It's not like that. It's just like, okay, he flowing this week, and then he might just seem like he disappeared. Like, God, you was just here. Where you at? Like, you quiet today. Like, that's just how he is sometimes. Like, and you would think the way social media got it, like, you would think like this dude about to show up the same type of way every Sunday, and he
Mhm.
not even showing up on the same type of timing because this week you need something else versus what you needed last week.
Mhm.
And people out here just and then like especially with social media, I feel like it's almost messing up messages now, like preaching messages now, because you're not preaching what we need to hear. You're preaching a lot about prosperity, a lot
Preach,
about
son.
money, a lot about
Preach, son.
success, family. Like, how about you preach? I don't want you to go to hell, dog.
Right,
Like, can you
right.
preach? Like,
I don't want
there's very few people of these Facebook preachers that you constantly see, and they don't tell you an inch of okay how to deal with this temptation because it's coming, dude. Like, how you gonna deal? Like, it just like you. It's not gonna work like that all the time. Like, if I constantly coming over there and I see you talking about if you sow this seed,
Uh-oh.
just give me one. If you really believe, you could bring me 50, but if you could just put 150 in your hand.
Oh, the line. Oh, you know
And
me.
I'm
I
just
don't. First
like,
of all, I have never caught a line as a preacher. I don't believe in and I'll put this on record. I don't believe in a prophetic offering. I don't care.
I don't.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Because if
Because to me,
$100 can give me out, I'm a
yeah,
big $800, dog. I done,
it almost takes
right.
the precedence off of God being our provider. If He gonna provide, He gonna provide. What you worried about it for?
Right, right.
So it's showing lack of trust in God. To me, when you do stuff like that, it's just like certain like I said, you preaching prosperity and stuff like that. How you preach about these kids losing their mind? How about that?
Hello. And they are losing their mind.
You teach
Here's
it.
where I want to. Here's where I think it gets interesting. The ministry needs a social media presence. You can't
You can't run away
operate.
from it. Yeah, you need it.
You
Yeah.
can't operate without a brand. You can't do anything. I mean, even this is a social media presence. So it'd be hypocritical for us not to say or not to have one. It's part of the game. It's visibility, it's maximum exposure, it's the tools that God has given us, right? How much is too much? How much isn't enough? Do
I,
you
I
go ahead? Do you think that your ministry, your pastor, should have a dominating social media presence or a social media presence at all?
if it's called for it to be that way,
Explain.
I feel like there's like okay, like for example, God knows who and know exactly who and who He can't give a lot of fortune to.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's only certain people God knows. Like okay, He has the mind, He has whatever I gave Him to speak to the people, give out the message that I want to give him, and he's strong enough for where I don't think it's gonna. Well, he ain't gonna think about it, but he's strong enough where I know he's not gonna succumb to it in a negative form.
Sure.
So yeah, there's somebody out there or maybe a couple people out there in the world that's able to have that big brand, like big old mega churches, and be sincere about it.
Right.
But majority of them probably not sincere about it because it was never meant for you to be that way. Yeah, he probably gave you a nice fortune, but it wasn't to become this big old mega church. It's probably for you and for you to do other things with it and put his name alongside with it in another situation. Like everything is not meant for you to have a big old platform. Your platform, like he could be like, yo, preacher down the street, I just want you to record your services. Preachers down the street, I want you to record your services, your messages, and if you go preaching, I know you preach at other churches, you go from town to town, record those too. As long as that, I want you to get an assistant because in a couple years, I'm gonna put you on a pedestal where you're gonna be going on a tour
Sure.
because you're just that person. But the dude down the street, I don't ever want you to go thinking that you could do that because that's just not what you're meant to do. So to answer your question, it depends on who that person is and depends on what calling it is. If God is meant for him to have that huge social media process, do it. But